Hey guys, it's Fusion Waves here, and today I'm going to be doing What If Deku or Izuku Was Betrayed? Sorry you guys, I reached 200 subs not too long ago, but you know me, I always usually come out late, so yeah, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, my goal is still to get 500 by, I'm pretty sure I said like December or November, so please if that's possible, please subscribe. And yeah, without further ado, play my intro. No, let's get straight into it. So we start off with Izuku. You know, this is before the USJ. I would say like maybe 1 or 2 days before the USJ, right? So actually no, this is gonna be after the first. This is gonna be the second day of UA. Yeah, second day of UA. So you know, we start off with Izuku, going to school. His mom telling him goodbye and him packing all his stuff. So while Izuku's going to school, he gets into the school, but people are giving him weird looks. Him still being the nervous wreck he is, doesn't really understand why. But, he lets it be, and, he just keeps on walking around. This is when he gets to class 1A. As soon as he gets to class 1A, everyone gives him this type of death glare. This causes Izuku to step back, because he's not sure what's happening. He asks them what's going on, Uraka starts the answer saying, "Shut up, you villain," or traitor. This broke Izuku, he starts saying, like, you guys actually believe that I would be a villain. Like, come on, it's been my dream to be a hero my whole life. I go back them up, he's like, yeah, the damn nerd has been trying to become a hero his damn life. He wouldn't do this, because, even though he hates to admit it, Izuku actually works hard to get to the place he is, and also he's been training, beyond just getting one for all. So, he actually did physical training before he got one for all, so you can use about like I'd say 15% of one for all full count. He also got full count because he saw how if all my users one for all in his arm buffs up, so he thought, hey, if I use it around my body, I could either become very buff or lightning. So the second result was lightning. So yeah, Aizawa comes in, he wraps Izuku up, he gives Izuku that look, he gives him that not disappointed, just like sad look, because Aizawa knows it's not Izuku, but they have physical proof, so that's where Nezu comes in, and Nezu being Nezu, he's like, Izuku Midoriya, you are the traitor, we saw you giving files about people's quirks to the villains, and Izuku says that no, he didn't, as my dude's a good kid, so he wouldn't give away files. As always, Nezu says that they have proof, and it's of him going in, taking the files, and leaving, So Izuku tells him that that's not him, that could be someone else, but they're like, nah, it's you, so we're gonna send you to prison, All Might believes Nezu, and he says, I'm gonna be taking back what's mine, and he takes back one for all. This leaves Izuku heartbroken. So yeah, he gets to the prison, before he does, he can have a little kind of like visit with everyone else. So people come in, Kaminari, Kirishima, Todoroki. Actually, not Todoroki, because Todoroki isn't really there yet. Actually, yeah, Todoroki and Bakugo, they all believe him. and also Tokiyami Cho. So, Tokiyami, they all believe him, Izuku's very brightened up by this, and yeah, he knows that he has friends he can come back to when he comes back. This is when someone unexpected walks in. Kendo. So in this one, Kendo and Izuku are gonna be kind of like childhood friends since Izuku met her in middle school. So yeah, Kendo says that, hey Izuku, how you doing? Izuku says, he's doing fairly well after everyone that came in, Kendo says that, she's liked him, she's always liked him, and, when he gets proven innocent, they go on a date, Izuku says that, yeah, I'll promise you that. And, Izuku leaves with a smile on his face. Now he goes to prison. This prison is gonna be on, like, a separate island, So, this prison is on a separate island. So, yeah, I think that like some kind of Alcatraz. Where they keep the big time villains, like All For One, if they did catch All For One. Which, sad actually, seeing as, they should have caught All For One a long time ago. So, yeah. Goes to that prison, This prison isn't a normal prison. It's like a scientific prison, where, they test, what's it called? They test poisons, test your durability on, trying to create medically produced humans, The first few weeks, Izuku, gets treated, he gets poison get tested on him, This causes him to have poison immunity because of how much poison they've been giving him. And also, they've been shocking him because sometimes he wouldn't listen. So, the guards would come in with like a bat and they usually overdo it, which give him a pretty decent amount of lightning resistance. So, yeah. Decent amount of lightning resistance, which is, good. So, this one time, one of the guards overdid it and shocked him with around, I would say, 300, maybe 400 volts. That isn't good. 300, maybe 400 volts. Sorry, million volts. So, this wasn't good. He got put inside of a kind of coma, This is where he meets Killua. You guys don't know who Killua is. This is the person on the left of the picture, the one with the blonde hair. So, he meets Killua. Killua says that, hey, that, he's been summoned here to help you. Because Killua is, like, he's good and all that, but, God decided to, have Killua help Izuku, which is, pretty nice of God. And that God is me. So, yeah, thank me, Izuku. So, he says that God, or, by some mystical creature, decided to take him from his world when he died and bring him to this one to help you. So, I'm gonna be spirit living inside your head. My name's Killua Zoldyck, And Izuku says that, hello, Killua, my name's Izuku Midoriya. Killua smiles at us, and, Killua so Killua. So, they get down to training. Because he's in a coma, the way they're going to be training is, while he's in this coma, whatever he does in his mind is going to be affecting his body, because his body is going to be thinking like, he already has this much muscle, so his body on the outside is going to start gaining that much muscle. Because, some mental, logical things can actually happen with the body like that. So, yeah. So, they're training their mindscape for, like, 2 months, which ends up actually being, like, 1 week. So, yeah. At this, he learns how to harden his skin like Killua does. Lightning manipulation, because I'm not going to give him Nen. Actually, I'm gonna give him Nen, just, the 4, first stages of Nen. I'm pretty sure it's like 10, Zetsu, something and something. I can't remember. I'll give him that, and I'll also give him, Transmuter, because I kind of need it. So, he's going to have, Godspeed in this one, because, he's having Killua help him, And sometimes Killua would, embarrass or tease Izuku about Kendo, because, yes, Killua still Killua through and through. So, yeah. Nezu walks in, with Midnight and, Present Mike, they walk in saying they want to meet Izuku. And at this point, Izuku has all the abilities of Killua, the ability to harden his skin, where, he hardens his skin and veins start popping out, his nails grow longer, bloodlust, or his blood intent, which is, very, very high. He got taught by, Killua. And, he has lightning, he has, Nen, the four first stages, and transmitter, that's I'm gonna give him. He also has, what is it called? Poison immunity, and to use Godspeed, you need a certain amount of lightning immunity. So that's why I needed him to get shocked multiple times. So, he can actually be able to use Godspeed. But now, trained of Killua, he can handle a decent amount of Godspeed, I'll say he can use Godspeed for about an hour and a half if he, pushes it. So, yeah. So, this is where stuff is gonna get good, So, they come one day after Izuku wakes up from his coma. This is the day where the other students are going to the USJ. So, Izuku, Nezu comes to visit him, They show him files saying, he wasn't UA traded because, I'm gonna say that, Kendo looked into this because, Kendo. She told him that, because the video file says, yes, I can finally get Izuku to myself. And even though Izuku has 18% control for all, he still, broke his bones during the entrance exam. So, yeah. So Toga, I'm gonna say Toga was there, she fell in love with him again. And, yeah. So, that happened. So the thing says, finally, I'm gonna have to Izuku to myself. And this is Toga talking against Izuku in the sky, She would point this out to Nezu that, no one say this about themselves, because, who the heck gonna say that about themselves, They check other cameras and find out that, it's this girl named Himiko Toga, which is probably working for the League of Villains, they all face palm, on how stupid they were, especially Nezu, because Nezu, smartest creature in the world, having the dumbest mind because he was enraged, or, being very dumb because he was enraged. So, kinda sus. So, dang it, I keep on saying so, dang it. So, Izuku, how am I gonna do this? Yeah, Izuku meets Nezu, or Nezu calls him, saying they have guests, because it's not normal to have guests here since, how, he's in the middle of nowhere, or, because, he's on an island again, so there's no really visitors, no one can really visit. This is where Izuku sees Nezu. At this, he releases some of his killer intent, just a bit, just 5%. This causes the air to go cold. Nezu's barely standing up, so is Midnight and Prison Mike. They're kind of suffocating under how much bloodlust the dude can release now. So the commander tells Izuku to calm down. Izuku calms down because he isn't really about that shock life. He's not really going to get shocked out of nowhere. So he calms down. They then start explaining that he's on DH Trader, and he says, yeah. I already know that. So why are you guys here? They tell him that he's here to bring back to UA. Izuku says no, and Nezu says that you have to come back to UA or else you're gonna stay here. Izuku's like, do I really have to now, right? So while they're doing this conversation back and forth, Nezu gets a call saying the USA is under attack. He tells Izuku. Izuku's like, I'll take care of that. He activates Godspeed times 100. Times 100. So this is him, stacking Godspeed on top of each other to do something like instant teleportation. He runs so fast that, he's not those teleports, he does it times 100 and he gets to the center of the USJ very quickly. He gets there to see Aizawa about to get, bitch slapped by the Nomu. He comes in, stops it, and he stops it. It's his first finger. He just stops it. He's like, who's this? And at this point, Izuku right now is wearing what he's wearing in the picture, minus the earrings and the bandages on his hands. So he's wearing what he's wearing in the picture. His hair is now kind of blue with the edge or the tips being green, which is cool. So yeah, prison hard. So he walks in, Kaminari, Kirishima, Todoroki, Tokuyami, and Bakugo, they're like, hey, Izuku. I'd like, hey, what's this a traitor doing here, And Aizawa's, he believed Deku wasn't the traitor, so, Deku got his trust, So, Deku's like, Aizawa, you need some help. Aizawa's like, better than ever, problem child. So, now than ever, problem child. So, my dude, Izuku starts charging up that Godspeed, the regular Godspeed that you can see Kilo using that photo right there. One of my colors is better than lightning, His hair starts spiking up, kind of like Super Saiyan, but it doesn't go golden. So yeah, he also does Snake Awaken. Oh, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, that's one of Kilo's powers. So this is when his eyes turn slit like Izuku's eyes turn blue, and they have a slit in it, kind of like how Naruto does Kurama eyes, those Kurama eyes, so when it's red with slits, there's gonna be Izuku with blue with slits, it's gonna be very cool. That's another one of Kilo's powers. He can do something called Snake Awakens, when he can now seemingly stretch his hands and extend his nails to the point where he's just like waving his hands around at very fast speeds, which chop up opponents. And he's using this, and Izuku's gonna be using this while using Godspeed, so it should be called God Snake Awakens or Kami no Serpent Awakens, whichever one. Like, honestly, it's still gonna be the same, So Izuku does this. He also uses his Mazama Bloodlust, which stops Nomu from moving. And he just slices and dices, Then Nomu tries to regenerate, and this is when Izuku pulls off an original, He charges lightning in his hand, into, he charges up lightning in his hand into a ball. Then, he closes it in both his hands and he starts stretching it out, which changes it into a type of, Thunderbolt, actually. Actually, no, a type of sword. He throws the sword, and the sword on impact starts to go through the pieces of the Nomu very quickly. And when it gets there, it starts to release lightning. And this lightning is like some high voltages, it's like some electrocuting someone to the ash type voltages. So, when it hits the Nomu, the thing starts, carbonizing. I'm pretty sure what people call it, carbonizing. And, it just to nothingness, Tomura starts saying, you cheated, you damn cheater. And, Izuku's like, nothing's fair in love and war. Or, there's no cheating in love and war. So, Tomura's pissed, Kirigiri's like, nah, I'm not catching these hands today. So, he warps them out, without Shigaraki having to tell him, So, the rest of the villains try to attack Izuku. So when Izuku pulls out that bloodlust, 1000%. People are suffocating. Some of them even fainted at this point. Like, one third of the villains, no, 2/3 of the villains that were there fainted. The rest of the people are just barely being conscious under, even the dark conscious, they're suffocating under how much pressure. Class 1A is also suffocating. Except for Kaminari, Todoroki, Tokuyami, Kirishima, and Bakugo. And also Aizawa, because, he didn't put it on them. So, everyone's suffocating, they're, like, dying. And, All Might walks in, he sees Deku and he's like, traitor, tries to want to hit Deku. This is when Deku uses Godspeed. He saw his Godspeed activated. Yeah, he saw his Godspeed activated. He dodges and, he puts his hand on All Might's wound. And, he shocks him there, This causes All Might to debuff. And, he walks in front of All Might. He's like, the great and powerful All Might. The number one hero, bested by a child. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? This is when, he's like, a bunch of bullshit, this is when he just walks away, he helps Aizawa up, this is when he uses Godspeed because he was activated to go run up the stairs, to talk to Kirishima, Tokuyami, Todoroki, Kaminari, and Bakugo. I don't want to say that anymore, so just say, like, his friends. I say his friends, you guys know what I mean. I've said their names so many times. Like, come on now. Like, it's annoying to say. So, he goes up to his friends. His friends are, welcoming him back. So Uraraka comes back saying, hey, why are you guys hanging out with the traitor? This is Izuku says, oh, you don't know, I've been moving innocent, This is when, Nezu comes out of, like, or, a helicopter lands outside, and, it's Nezu, Nezu walks in to see Izuku in this type of lightning mode. And, they don't really question it, they want to catch that smoke. So, they don't want to catch the smoke, so, they don't really question it. Nezu just says that, Izuku's gonna be coming back because he's not really the traitor. It's this girl named Himiko Toga who probably works for these villains. Everyone's saddened by this, especially Uraraka, because, Uraraka was kind of starting to like Deku. But, Deku didn't really like Uraraka. He was thinking of her as a friend while she was thinking of him as, like, a crush. Not gonna happen. It's very gonna be Izuku X Kendo if someone hasn't noticed yet. Because, yes. Like, have you guys have ever seen that JoJo episode where that person who has a stand is like, who can read minds, is like, yes. Well, that's funny though. Okay, back to the story. Izuku goes back, he comes back, he walks into class 1B actually. He comes in, he's wearing his uniform, but he still has that blue hair with the green on the tips. He walks in, he sees Kendo, he walks into class. Class hasn't really started yet. It's very early. Like, Kendo's like the only one in the class, Izuku walks up to Kendo, Kendo right now is kind of depressed because, Izuku be gone. So, when she sees Izuku, she's like, I must be hallucinating, And this is when Izuku touches her and says, no, you're not. How have you been, Kendo? Kendo blushes by this, he says, I've been good, you? Izuku says, could have been better. They start talking a bit, some people start coming in and, class is about to start, Izuku says bye to Kendo. Kendo says bye to Izuku, and Izuku says, oh yeah, I won't forget our date, This makes Kendo blush, because, he remembered. And, yeah. He goes into class, everyone's trying to, become into him, someone like Uraraka try to talk to him, Uraraka and Lita try to talk to him. Izuku just ignores them, Kirishima and Tokuyami start talking to Izuku. He'll just Kaminari, because, they're asking on how he has his, like, lightning ability. He says that, he got it during jail, Apparently he has the ability to or kind of something like that. Like, he has this thing, energy called Nen, and he goes into one of the 6 categories, which is, transmuter, so he can, transmute his aura to match something, which he chose to be lightning, Also, I'm gonna give him a small chance of one for all, like, kind of like 20%, because if you guys have not seen, transmuter is taking something you've already felt like lightning or fire and putting it into your aura. So Izuku can technically put the embers of one for all that he's, does not have, or he does have, because, he hasn't fully transferred yet. into his aura, which causes it to be like one for awful kind, 20%. Sorry for that. That was just me being weird. But whenever you're talking to Shoff, it's weird. And also, it's like, if you guys can see it on top, it's 5:43 a.m. So like, and this is like a school day. It's like a Monday. Like, damn. So that happens. Izuku, he's kind of pissed. But he does talk to them. During lunch, he decides to sit by Kendo because Kendo's eating alone right now. He's with Kendo. Tokiyami, Kirishima, Todoroki, and Bakugo join them. Izuku at this point is just teasing Kendo. He got that from Killua because Killua, he's kind of the prankster. So, you talk about their day, how they're going to go on it in the afternoon. And, Bakugo's like, wait, you got a date? And he's like, damn, nerd. Like you shouldn't be getting a girlfriend before I do. And he's like, sorry, Bakugo. Like, the girls just want this, And, Bakugo, he's like, bruh, like, come on now. Like, don't do me like this. He's like, too late, He's talking to them, Uraraka tries to come up, He sees Kendo, and she's immediately like, oh my god, it's a threat, Like, it's a threat, She tries to sit down, try to push Kendo out the way. Kendo doesn't budge because, Kendo, she is stand her ground. So, Kendo says, Izuku, like, so when we're doing it, he says that, maybe like 5-6 p.m. So, he says, sure, we'll meet up. She's in front of the school. And, after that, the bell rings, lunch is over. So, they leave. And, yeah, that's when we're going to end off. Since, it's way too early for me to actually, continue the story in a good way. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry, this came out very late. Like, you guys know me. For one, I have school. 2, if I ever say I have homework, I'm lying, because I never have homework unless I forgot to do my work at school. 2, 3, I'm very sorry. Like, I told you guys it'd be very difficult to come out with a video, once a week. That's why that whole, like, last week, I was recording videos, like, every 2 days, because, I was trying to make sure that, if I ever did forget to upload a video for a while, you guys would, like, have something to watch. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. And bye, guys. Bye, Fusion Army. Peace out.